a lot of us have this sense that something has been lost, that the wonder and enchantment of life is gone. But the truth is, it never went anywhere. We've just lost touch with beauty and wonder. So today, we are going to talk about how you can live your life as if you are the main character in a fantasy novel. My name is Bailey. I am a fantasy artist, writer, enthusiast. Today we're gonna sit down, indulge our imaginations a little. I'm gonna give you some practical, fun ideas for things that will fill your life with wonder and whimsy. So grab yourself a lovely cup of tea or coffee, get cozy, and let's have a good chat about how you can romanticize your life, Romantasy style. There's so much in our everyday lives that we've allowed to become devoid of beauty. We've taken this utilitarian mindset of, oh, we just have to get it done. And then we allow ourselves to move through life in a way that is just dull, but there's so much we can do to take back that wonder and that whimsy and live like we really are the main characters in our stories. Put your mouthwash in a potion bottle. So this doesn't have to literally be that. Like, I don't use mouthwash, but the idea is generally take the objects that you use in daily life and make them beautiful. This doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out and buy, all new containers for your skincare routine. You can modify the things that you already have on hand, like glue some pearls onto your hairbrush, or just decorate your bathroom. Light a candle while you wash your face in the morning. Use a lovely towel that makes you smile every time you see it. Spend time in darkness and use candles instead of light bulbs. Okay, modern lighting is the enemy. Interestingly, studies have shown that darkness is actually good for us. Like, we need darkness as human beings. It's actually good for our brains. Design yourself a family crest. Paint it, hang it up in your house. You get to decide, what do you want your legacy to be? Courage, chaos, coziness? What animals represent you? What symbols? What colors? Pick your emblems and get crafty. Creating this crest is more than just a fun art activity. It's claiming an identity. It's saying, this is what I value, and this is the house that I'm building. Try writing the occasional letter where you pour out your feelings to your friends, loved ones, or share stories with them, or share drawings, whatever you like, and actually handwrite this on a letter. Use beautiful paper, seal it in a beautiful envelope, maybe add a wax seal, and just have a lot of fun with the physicality of the letter itself. There's something special about, tangible objects that's just different from writing a text or, I don't know, do people email their friends? Cook meals slowly and intentionally and simply. One of the most delicious things in the world is a simple slice of bread that you baked yourself. When you pour care and intention into your food, when you take the time to slow down and enjoy what you're doing, you start to enjoy the process. Take in the smells, the sights, the colors, the taste, of course, and the texture of what you're cooking or creating. And it will start to make your daily meals more and more magical. If you are the journaling type, try writing your journal in the third person. So you're narrating your own life as dramatically as you desire, chronicling your saga and taking your life seriously as if you are writing the story of a fantasy character. Instead of writing, I had a crappy sleep, write, she awoke at dawn, weary from dreams that would not let her rest. Writing in the third person allows you to have the emotional distance to process the things that are going on in your life, but also to create a narrative around what you're experiencing, imbuing a sense of purpose and fulfillment and mission into your life, shaping those experiences and seeing the wonder and whimsy in the little everyday things. It's also, if you're a drama queen like me, just a lot of fun to really dramatize the little things in your life. I know you may have mixed feelings, but nature is like the whole world of fantasy novels. And I think that's one of the things that appeals to us about fantasy is the way that nature is integrated with daily life. Even if you live in the middle of a city, there is probably a tree out there somewhere nearby, or at least like a pigeon or some weeds. Just do the best that you can to find the nature that is closest to you. Start learning to identify the local plants, bugs, birds, trees, etc. It's almost like you're collecting Pokemon. You can even keep like a nature log where you start recording all of the names of species that you have learned. But honestly, knowing the names of things, it really matters. When you're driving down the road and you see a bunch of wildflowers, like most of the time I have no idea what the names of those are, but I've made an effort in the last several years to start learning. It changes your perspective on the world. When you learn something's name, it stops just being background noise. It stops just melding in with the rest of the world. And like when you learn a person's name, a relationship is kindled. It starts to feel like a comforting and familiar face. Okay, don't just know the names of the plants and the birds. Start giving names to the landmarks around you. Like the crooked old fence on the corner of your cul-de-sac, now it's the Weeping Gate. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This kind of naming might feel a little silly, a little childish. It's very Anne of Green Gables, but it's actually deeply powerful. Language shapes perception. Perception creates experience. So when you rename the places around you, when you give them meaning, you reclaim them from blandness and routine and invisibility. Rather than moving through the world passively like a brain-dead zombie or bouncing around like a pinball through spaces that feel foreign and closed off to you, occupying a world in which you're told you don't belong, you can never rest, you can't feel safe, you can start to reconstruct how you exist in space and how you start looking at the world as a space that we all share and in which we all belong. Try sleeping under the stars. This doesn't have to be like a big complicated camping trip. This can literally be like putting an air mattress out on your balcony, setting up a sleeping bag in your backyard. The stars remind us of our smallness and of the vastness of the universe. And there's something really magical about just sleeping beneath them with nothing blocking out the world. No walls around you, no roof over your head. Nothing closing you in, just the great vastness of all the world around you. Make a regular practice of taking time to stop in nature and listen. Close your eyes and just absorb the sounds around you. Learn to identify the calls of different birds. Learn how the wind sounds when it's creaking the trees around you. Learn to identify those sounds. It's all a part of being more grounded, more in relationship with the world around us. And last for this section, figure out what in nature fascinates you and then learn everything you can about it. Not because you need to become a botanist or a druid, although that does sound cool, but because it will rewire your brain towards awe and wonder. You don't have to learn it all, but is there one thing in nature that you're particularly fascinated by? One thing that gives you like the shivers, that makes you go, what even is this? And once you've figured out that kernel of interest and found it, go all in on it. Maybe it's moss. Maybe it's cloud formations. Did you know that trees are actually like connected with each other? Trees share resources with each other to help each other survive. Like, this blows my mind. Anyway, mushrooms are also fascinating to me for many, many reasons, but a fun fact, mushrooms transmit like electrical signals. We're not exactly sure what it means, but scientists have noticed that there are some commonalities with human speech patterns that are very intriguing. So that's just a tiny little taste, but there's so much in nature that is just fascinating. Let's make adulting into a quest. We all have responsibilities, things that have to get done, bills to pay, errands to run, groceries to get, dental appointments to go to. These do not have to just be chores. Imagine your daily to-dos to be mini adventures. We're gonna use our imaginations here and have a little playfulness in how we approach life. Every task isn't just about accomplishing the thing in and of itself. It's about how you live your life on a daily basis and the story that you are living out. Dress up. You can decide on a daily basis what story you want to tell about yourself and dress as the hero of that story. Wearing something that makes you feel excited to be alive is so powerful. Seriously, when you're dressed up like a mysterious princess in exile, the tasks of daily life start to feel a little bit less mundane. Now, I don't mean that you have to go out wearing cosplay or costumes. You can if that's what brings you joy, but I am saying that you can transform the everyday act of getting dressed into a ritual of self-expression and fun. This doesn't mean you have to change your entire wardrobe either. You can just add small touches that feel meaningful to you. In true fantasy fashion, give yourself a secret true name that no one can ever know. A name that means something to you, that embodies something about yourself and the story that you want to live out. What should this name be? I don't know. Make something up. Susan, the singer of shadows. Or it could just be like a made-up fantasy sounding name, like many of our favorite fantasy characters that's just a mishmash of syllable soup. It's something that you can hold to when you need to steel yourself, when you need to commit to a goal or stay grounded in your roots. But really at its core, what it's about is changing your perception of yourself and seeing yourself as someone meaningful, as the hero in your story. So if getting a healthy amount of exercise is a struggle for you, like it is for me sometimes, I found it really fun and helpful to imagine that you are actually training to be a warrior. Like, if you think of this as in, oh, I actually need these muscles to like fight back against the forces of evil or like to save my own life, suddenly you will be very motivated. I have never wanted more badly to be able to do a pull-up than when I imagine that I am dangling over the edge of a cliff. So treat your physical fitness like you are preparing for war. Listen to soundtracks. Orchestral music is so powerful and emotional. Ever since I was a kid, I've been listening to soundtracks and they are so motivating. So if you're out running errands and you have to do things that would otherwise be boring, it can be a lot of fun to listen to a really epic, powerful soundtrack because it changes the flavor of the task at hand and helps to set a mood and a tone. This can also be a really fun way to start or end your day just by listening to like a really epic soundtrack that makes you feel like life is magical and fantastical. So go and create a playlist of music that makes you feel like you are the hero of your own story, makes you feel like you are a fairy or a knight or a warrior princess, whatever it is that you want, and listen to that while you are doing stuff that you don't want to be doing, and it'll make it more fun. The last thing I want to talk about is the magic of your mindset. At the core of every idea and practice and thought that we've talked about really is the mindset. It's not just about having a certain aesthetic. While that is fun, it's not about just pretending away our problems as a society. It's about remembering who we really are, souls with purpose, interconnected, existing in this world side by side. That's why I believe that this is so important, because when we get stuck and trapped in that mindset of believing everything is gray and nothing means anything, then that's the story we start to live out. But you can have so much more, and we get a glimpse of that when we read our favorite fantasy novels. You know, you might never be rich or famous or successful in the eyes of our society, but your life can be so meaningful and powerful in the everyday actions you choose. Your life matters. Your life is art. Sometimes the grandeur of life is just in choosing to stop and help someone who's in need, even though you're already running late. Sometimes your epic story is choosing to smile at your coworkers and be kind, even though you're having a really crappy day. One of the most critical concerns of our society today is loneliness. And it's such a fixable problem because we're all lonely and we're all isolated and anxious. And there are a lot of valid reasons for that. Like, it's not simple, but you have such a power to change that, so much more power than you may realize. The dark forces of the world are strong, but life is a grand adventure, wild, brilliant, and wondrous. But sometimes you have to teach yourself to see it first. And that might start with the smallest of steps, with pausing to find the wonder in a sunset or a flower, in embracing small things that give more wonder in the world. By changing our mindsets, finding meaning and purpose in our lives, we can start to build connection. We can start to shape reality. And let's be real, it's just a lot of fun. Thank you so much for making it to the end. I hope you had so much fun. I hope these ideas got your creative juices flowing. I would love if we made this comment section just full of inspiration for ideas on how we can turn our lives into fantasy novels, because I feel like I have just scratched the surface. So if you have any more ideas for weaving magic into the mundane, finding whimsy and joy in our everyday lives, and living as the main characters in our fantasy stories, please leave them in the comments below so we can chat more about it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it and share it with your friends. It's really, really helpful for me as a newbie fledgling channel to help connect with people who need this content. I'm so, so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for watching to the end. And until next time, I hope you have a gloriously creative rest of your day. Bye for now.